Welcome back, guys, to another one of these one-on-ones. The topic today is things that I dreaded in high school. Now, some of these things you might be able to relate to more than others. I had to make this video into two parts because there are just so many things that I dreaded about high school, whether it was before I went, during when I went, or at the end of high school, which are two different things. So, without further ado, let's begin. First is the baby project. This one was pretty heavily influenced on me by television. Whenever I saw this happening on TV, it never turned out well. Pretty much never. Whoever it was that was doing the baby project always had a fear of the baby crying, of embarrassment, like you accidentally drop the baby and it's gonna fall into a fountain and it's gonna electrocute and you'll fail your project and whatever. There was always some kind of fear that was attached to the baby project in television shows and movies and whatever else I saw. And you know what the solution always was? Take the voice box out. Really? I don't think you can do that in real life. Can you just grab your baby and be like, alright, let's see here, let's open her up and yep, there we go, now she can't cry. Nope, you shouldn't be able to touch any kind of voice box or battery or anything, because you gotta be prepared for when that happens, man, and there's no voice box. Also, I saw girls in middle school that had babies. There weren't very many, but there were a few. I'm not criticizing them. I'm not saying they were bad mothers. I'm just saying they looked strung out, man. They were just so stressed out, it looked like. And maybe they didn't look like that at home, but whenever they came to school and they had their baby, they just did not look like they were having a good time. And I was not prepared for that. I didn't want to deal with that. I didn't want to try to support a girl that was dealing with that kind of stress. That's just insane, and you know, the stress would be on me as well. Granted, those were real babies, there was more responsibility attached, a lot more responsibility, but still, I didn't want to be responsible for a mechanical one either. It'd be even more weird if I had a partner on the baby project. It's like, is that supposed to represent my life partner? Whether it was a dude or it was a girl, it was gonna be weird either way. I don't even know what commitment is. I'm 13 years old. I'm supposed to share a baby's mechanical life with someone else? No! The second thing that I dreaded going into high school were the dances. This one was also pretty heavily influenced by television because whenever I saw it, someone was always getting rejected, and that's what I feared the most. It was bad enough that I was 3 feet tall and hairless while all the other girls were going through puberty. There was no way I was gonna walk up to her and face getting rejected. There were middle school dances, so that was kind of designed, I guess, to prepare us for high school dances. Regardless, I didn't want to do that in high school, so I was pretty scared to do that in high school. Once I got in high school though, dances were pretty fun, so on a side note, that was pretty fun. Then again, I never did get rejected, so I guess the fear never came to real life. Third thing that will follow you from your previous academic life into high school are slow readers. I'm not saying slow readers like people that can't read, people that are just like dumb. Like, I'm not saying people are dumb. I'm just saying there's those readers that are slow readers, and I'm convinced that they do it because they don't want to read, and they think if they read slow, the teacher won't call on them anymore. In reality, what the teacher is thinking is, oh, I should give him more reading time so he can get better at reading. Maybe he'll read a little bit faster, maybe he'll understand the words better. No, teach, you don't get it. He doesn't want to read, and he's never going to read faster, so please, for the love of all of our sanity, stop calling on that kid. Also, clumped in with this is people who say that they suck at reading. This is what happens when the teacher calls on them and they read a couple lines and they stumble and they're like, oh, I'm sorry, I suck at reading. No, if you sucked at reading, you would still be in elementary school. You don't suck at reading, okay? Just have a little bit of confidence in yourself. Finish that one paragraph that you were assigned and it's all done for the day. You just can move on. It's just a paragraph, I promise. Fourth thing that follows you from middle school into high school. Well, for me anyway. I don't know if that was that way for you. The mile. Yes. You guys know the pain, right? I just had to say the mile and you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. This also kind of ties in with the puberty thing where I was still very small when I entered high school, so when I was in PE and we had to run the mile, that track looked huge. A mile was like running across the country for me. It was, I took these tiny little steps. I didn't have fully grown legs yet, and it was just very daunting. Also, it didn't matter if I was the fastest person on the track. Basically, if one person didn't run it or didn't try at all, we all got yelled at. It was just like being on a professional sports team. If one person didn't do it, then everybody got in trouble. Even if I got a 5-minute mile, this kid that was tiptoeing his way across the track got a 20-minute mile. So we all got in trouble. which was just great. Really, nobody ever really tried, so the majority of people were getting 20-minute miles, but for the people that did try, like me, we got in trouble and it was just kind of pointless to run the mile at all, so we just stopped and ended up being 20-minute milers anyway. Ironically, I ended up running track and cross country in my later years in high school, but it didn't matter. I still hated running eventually because 1 mile turned into 8 miles, and when you run 8 miles consistently for a few months, you start to hate that too, even if it's your sport. So, moral of the story, no matter how many miles you run or what kind of sport that you're in, you're always gonna hate running. Hate to break it to you guys. Who knows, maybe you guys are different. Maybe you're better than me. If you are, more power to you. But for me, the last thing that I dreaded in high school only existed in high school, I'm pretty sure. I don't think it existed in middle school because I wasn't traumatized by it in middle school. This was called Spirit Week. What basically Spirit Week is 1 week during the year, it might have been 2 weeks during the year, I'm not really sure. Every day had a different theme assigned to it. You either had to dress up, you had to bring some kind of object or something. There was something attached to the day every day. Now, it wasn't the costumes that freaked me out, it wasn't the objects that freaked me out, it wasn't the ideas really that freaked me out, it was the people that either loved it or hated it that just completely ruined the Spirit Week thing for me. Basically, the people that were too into it, you had to look out for, like physically look out for and dodge. So the people that were really into it would like criticize you for not participating in Spirit Week. It's optional, isn't it? Like, don't start yelling at me because I'm not dressed like a nerd. And then there's dealing with the people who hated it. I get it. You don't like Spirit Week. You don't want to participate in Spirit Week. I don't want to participate in Spirit Week, but that doesn't mean you need to complain about it every 2 seconds when someone comes up to you that is dressed as a nerd or whatever, clown, I don't know, whatever the heck the day was. You know, it's equally as annoying to be criticized by someone for not participating in Spirit Week as it is for someone complaining to you about Spirit Week every time it happens in each day of the week. Don't just like come into class and look at all the people that are dressed up and be like, man, you guys are all stupid. This is stupid. Why are you guys even doing this? No, that's not cool, man. Like, just knock it off. Needless to say, I dreaded Spirit Week just purely because of the people and the attitudes that were placed towards it. That's basically it for this part 1 of the things that I dreaded in high school. There will be a part 2 with some other stuff that you probably will be able to relate to. Ultimately, all of these things that I listed that I dreaded in high school got easier over time. Other than that, guys, hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you have a fantastic rest, whatever it is, wherever you are. If I can talk, I hope I see you guys very, very soon. Bye, guys.